I don't know what it is about Undead Unluck, but it always feels like it's in this perpetual state of being at the end game of the series. But because it's almost always like that, I can't tell what actually is end game area of the series. But as it were, like we have in this chapter, we have Andy showing up to rescue Izumo from Billy's clutches. One thing about this I actually really did like. It's a small thing. It's just one of those extra detail bits in a chapter that just I enjoy very much. Was when Billy was using a new negator power, Unbalance, and I don't think we've been shown anybody with that power. I think that's just one that he obtained at some point. But I like that without having to say it or do anything like in description of it. Because of the style of the mangaka just put on the panel Unbalance and then has like the effects on it. I think that's really cool, and it's one of those things where it's like obviously just by its display and its name you can determine what it is and what it does, at least to a degree. I mean, it could do something even more complicated than just the name Unbalance would imply. But I just thought that was a really nice little attention bit that is cool to have. I'm happy when characters like that can just have a power, show it real quick. It doesn't have to be like a big focus. It can just be literally just adding to their move set. It's kind of like when there's a character who the author knows is going to be around real short, like a character that they just bring in pretty much for like a chapter or two for a fight, and then they just like start throwing attacks out from them because it's like you're only going to get to see this character for X amount of time, very short amount of time, potentially only the one fight. So, you know, to show a couple random attacks and techniques from them, it just at least gives you a good amount of content for said individual. Whereas with this one with Billy, it just kind of like adds a little bit extra without having to like put a lot of focus or energy towards that specific scene. But while they're doing their thing, you have like some cool moments, like Andy giving Izumo a bunch of his fingers, her pumping up with Unluck, and then just shooting them out, having these Unluck bullets. And the thing about that, really cool as well. I liked Billy a lot as like a sharpshooter, and even though he's got multiple powers, like with his ability to kind of like copy and steal, not steal, but kind of just like full copy other people's abilities. He still has his guns, pulls his guns out, and just blasts each of these fingers real quick, and then realizes that they use that to get away. But still, it was cool just to see that utilized. And then, what's her name? Yusai, the character that used to be a girlfriend of Andy. One, I noticed in chapter she has Juice's sword, like the flaming sword. I thought they got that back. I'd have to go back and recheck some of the chapters, but I could have sworn that they got that back when Juice ran away. Maybe they just got her arm. But Yusai just doing her thing, like, clashing with Andy. I'm surprised that like her sword didn't completely overtake his, because I don't think is Andy's sword anything special? I don't think so, because I know he got that from the random bad guy in chapter 1. So I feel like that flaming artifact sword should just like completely no-diff this katana. Either way, once they use that moment to escape, they get outside, and that's when. But you have a moment where Izumo's trying to bring up like, oh, you know, what'd you say like while you were coming in? Because Andy said that he loved her, and he's just like, oh no, you know, I'm just glad that I came and got you. You know, not a big deal. You know, whatever. And Andy's like saying like, okay, well, we'll actually talk about it after this is over. One of those kind of scenes. It's weird. It's like normally this would be a death flag. It's just one of those like kind of dangerous areas. But it's like these are the two main cast members. I really doubt anything is gonna majorly happen to him, at least permanently. And on top of that, we know Andy is undead, so it's like it'd be really hard to build up a scenario where they like death follows this scene, like it actually ends with some like heavy toll on him, rather than just kind of like leading him forward with this. Because the series has done really well with Andy and Izumo's relationship, and actually kind of like showing more of it and developing more of it on a romantic setting, instead of like waiting like you know, hundreds of chapters between each bound of like development. Which, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna get mad at Shonen do that, but it's obviously different than like this, where it's like 80 chapters in, Izumo and Andy have both acknowledged their love for each other and are like borderline at the edge of just telling each other about it. That's when Billy uses the whole unbalanced power, and Andy pretty much just kind of like ties Izumo to his sword, and then I guess she's like charging up the building with Unluck, I would guess. Because I was thinking about it initially, like, is she gonna climb up and try and like 1v1 Spring? But it's like she can't, like, you know, like she's, for one, she's like on the side stuck. Even if she was going to try and climb up the side, how long is it going to take her? It looks like she's going to. There's a part where you don't see the tie, like the rope on her back to the sword. Maybe that's an art thing, but it looks like she's climbing up. But I'm like, how much is she willing to actually go up the side of the building? And then it's like, once she gets to Spring, is she going to like run over and grab him? I feel like charging the building up with Unluck is like her best bet. And she's gotten strong enough, and I don't know how long the series is gonna go for, but like, I don't imagine it go for a long time. But like, say 150 chapters, we'd be over halfway. So her having her ability advanced to that point would be completely fine. Because again, she's like a caster essentially. She's not a fighter. She's not somebody like used to taking damage. She's just got to get in that like hacks ability, and if she's got it here, maybe after this, like, you can fully upgrade her power and then start working on her being a fighter. I don't really know. Either way, good chapter. I like Izumo and Andy's moments. The whole Yusai bit. I want to see like who her opponent is. Is it gonna be Andy? Like, not only that, like, because Billy's there, so it's like if Andy fights Yusai, then who's Billy gonna fight? Why is Billy not gonna let that fight happen instead of going in himself? There's a bit of there's a good set of questions on the battles right now. I want to see what Andy and Izumo are doing, but I really want to get to the side character ones. Because I like the one with Top and Chikara. It made Chikara's character for me. I like them a lot more now. And then actually getting Top's backstory, I like Top. And I like their dynamic too. I think they have a pretty good character dynamic between each other. So getting like to the scientist guy, like, so I can stop calling him scientist guy. I can actually remember what his name is and like know what he does and his backstory. But anyway, other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, before the like button, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Other than that, appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.